Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of our Satisfactory series where we continue to progress towards the end of phase 4, but we still have a long way to go. So what I've been working on is actually a continuation from our last stream. Now here we have our factory. If you're wondering what we use those for, I'll show you, and I'll also show you what we ended up doing on the stream as well, just to get you all up to speed. As you can see in the top right, we are working our way towards nuclear power. So that is really exciting, and we're actually there. So the end product here being 56 supercomputers, that's what we did all of this for, and that's why now I can tear this down and do it the right way. There we go. Now we have it. Unlocking the nuclear power. Okay, so now we have to work on the magnetic field generator, but honestly, we just unlocked so many things with that nuclear power that I'm pretty sure this entire episode is just going to be us going nuclear. Well, luckily that is going to be hopefully solved in this episode, but let me quickly get you all caught up on what we did during the live stream, just so no one feels left out. We were able to get pretty much all the way done through the mycelium network. This unlocked things like fabric, an extra hand slot, gas mask filters, and even parachutes. It did allow us though to actually get started on our uranium setup. And for that we just needed a hazmat suit, which was pretty easy to make, and then these two manufacturer setups. All these things are used though to make gas filters, and then over here we have more gas filters, but they're actually getting put into this manufacturer for the iodine infused filters. I was kind of surprised that we actually need both. We need the gas filters and the iodine filters if we really want to go through and get any uranium. Now I mentioned that we do have uranium, and we do. We could check it out here as we get a little closer. I'm getting irradiated already. So even though it's in this storage unit, we have 160 of it, it's still trying to irradiate us. So honestly, for the most part, you're fairly caught up. We simply set up the fabric operations like I mentioned, and also this manufacturer setup for all these supercomputers. One final thing is someone did help me out. So essentially you set up 6 of these platforms and you stick them together with 3 separate entrances, and they kind of give you a hyper boost, and it works on all of them. I haven't upgraded all of my hypertubes yet. I probably will, but I did upgrade this one that goes to our other base since we go there kind of often. So check out how fast we are now. Yes, much faster than before. I'm a big fan. So now that everyone's caught up, what is the entire focus of this video? And that's going to be going nuclear. Bruh. We are going to be needing to set up a new facility. This is going to be a large facility, and it's going to house a bunch of stuff. So just a small trip away, I think this is going to be the best spot to continue forward. So all of this stuff here, we have everything we need in this area. One of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to in this new factory, I can use all of my previous knowledge to make hopefully a better factory than last time. And I say that every time, but I promise each one has been better, even though it kind of doesn't seem like it. So let's clear out some of these trees and we'll get started on laying the foundation. Well, I ended up going back to base to restock and reload. We ended up using over 100 explosive rounds, and I figured since we're going to be going back and forth between this base probably a lot in the future, I might as well get started on our transport system. So I got everything set up. I was able to bring a few of the electricity towers over here, so now we are all connected, good to go. And let's get back to our other base real quick. Yep, this is way faster than walking. I'm so glad I set this up. Shout out to whoever on stream helped me figure out this system, because this is so much better than walking. We are back once again, reloading for another go back to the new base. And I figured we might as well, since we're here, make one kind of weird upgrade, but I could definitely see us using it. And that's going to be here in the Caterium tree. This is one of the last ones, but it's for the Power Poles Mark III. So the Mark II doubled how many connections we can have, and this one, I'm hoping also doubles that. Okay, so it allows for up to 10 power line connections, which is honestly only 3 more than the last one. So I don't know how much I'll realistically be using it, just because it is kind of annoying having to make the PC high speed component. So we'll probably leave it for the time being, but it is nice to use the new ones in the new area because we are going to have so many things we need to connect. And yeah, this is a peek at how big this facility is going to be. Like I said, I want to house a bunch of stuff here, including supercomputers and everything below that. So we're going to need all the help we can get. We have plenty of iron though, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so we've made a ton of progress. As you can see, we already have quite a bit of it kind of already mapped out, and this wasn't too bad. I'm not even sure if I need Caterium. I just wanted to make sure that I had it just in case. And I even went as far as splitting off a bit of our coal that we're using to bring over here. And so we can have a few more foundries set up, because foundries actually don't require that much. Okay, so in our typical side quest fashion, I came down over here to get more plastic. You know, mission accomplished. It really wasn't that hard. I just had to reroute some plastic from one facility into that merger, and now we're getting way more plastic. Cool, mission accomplished. But yeah, so we're over here for some reason now, finishing and fixing whatever this is. So as you can see, we have a bunch of compacted coal that we were previously using for our turbo fuel situation, and we're still going to be using it for that. But I wanted to clean up this whole mess before it gets any worse. Now we have a really nice looking setup. So we have a reservoir that pumps out to all 5 of these refineries instead of 3. So it's already an upgrade. And all 5 of these are making fuel. And then they get pumped into these 2 other fuel reservoirs, which get sent to not, I think before we had like 1 or 2 refineries. Now we have 6. So yeah, typical me. I had to go back to base 3 times to get all the things we needed, just because I kept forgetting very, very small parts. Let's get the rest of this built out. It should be easy from here on, fingers crossed. And here is the grand reveal. 10, count them, 10 fuel powered generators. And these are not just any fuel. This is turbo fuel. I think it looks really, really sick, really good. Honestly, this is probably how a lot of people build it, but mine was really messed up before, and this is just way, way better. So now that I have all these set up, we can do the final connection. We can connect all these to power and hear the roar of our energy. It was 4,000. Now we can hear the power growing to a massive 5,500. That's pretty good. Okay, I promise this time we are working on something that I wasn't planning on, but it actually makes sense and it's kind of worth it. It's going towards our goal. So as you can see, I have this peculiarly long line of plastic, and what I've been working on is I have it coming from here. This is our kind of plastic storage setup, and it's been stacking up. I figured I might as well actually use it, and I want this computer setup, this factory that we're building, to be as automated as possible. I'm kind of tired of like relying on myself to get these factories up and going repeatedly, because I'm like kind of lazy right now, and that just ends up not good because I forget, or well, mostly I just forget to continually restore these things. So I have the plastic going in here instead of me having to manually bring it over like I did with that factory, or even our big factory over there. I still have to manually bring over plastic. So I figured let's finally make it so it's at least semi-automated. So this is what we have been working on. We were working on getting this copper actually put to use. So these 3 on the right, they're all getting sent to constructors, and that's all for our copper sheets. Those copper sheets are getting piped into these assemblers, waiting for their valiant savior plastic, which What's going on? It should be coming down. What? Is there no plastic in here? What the hell? No, it's supposed to intake. God dang it. Okay, we finally were somehow able to figure it out. There was a couple inflow and outflow issues, but they have been solved. So our 2 new train stops were worth it because, as you can see, it is flowing in pretty well, actually. I'm kind of surprised. So it's going in and it's getting sent to our assemblers, which have been set up with a little merger situation on the back. And all of that is getting sent into this new final manufacturer setup. So we could split this off even more if we need plastic for other things, because as you can see, we're kind of good to go here so far. And then we have the components, the PC components, the what are these called? Circuit boards, going through all 3 of them, getting split as well. And lastly, of course, we have the wires going through everything as well. And overall, I think it looks good. Looks fairly easy to understand. You know, we just have a bunch of splitters, mergers, and it looks like someone who knew what they were doing created this, which, whether or not I do appreciate that it looks that way, which is what we're going for. Ooh, okay, nice. Look at all that quick wire finally going through into our little assembler situations. Looks like they're starting to pile in and we can start making stuff soon. So that's pretty exciting. We got another setup complete. So we have triple copper production going on, flying through here into our, it's getting tight, as you can tell. So it's going in here. Copper sheets getting made, produced, 5 constructors, and then those are getting sent into 4 assemblers. And this is for our AI limiters. So we have 4 AI limiters for our assemblers going. As you can see, we are getting super tight in here. We're gonna have to use a lot of these conveyor lifts if we want this to be successful. Unfortunately, we're having to pull out that trick sooner than I would like. Oh boy. Okay. We have been doing a lot here. So somehow, through weird witchcraft and alchemy, we were able to kind of get this to work. We did set up another setup over here, this one right here. So we had 2 extra copper smelters over there. Ended up sending it over here, kind of low production, so I might need to work on that, but I think the tier 3 miners will help out with that a lot. So I decided to make additional circuit boards just in case, because I feel like those are pretty easy to run low on. So because of that, I set up our copper sheet maker and I siphoned off some plastic from over there. And then we have those circuit board makers with some Caterium that we were able to siphon off over there, and also some wire that we were able to siphon off. So now all 3 of these will eventually be making high-speed connectors. So that's pretty cool. So we just need to wait for the quick wire to come in, but it is fully automated, which is all that matters. It's so funny. I actually just remembered that I can even do this. So I just overclocked both of these to 200%. That's gonna definitely help with production. I should use these more often. I've been saving up 100 of them, or towards 100 of them, so that eventually we can get that one research done that requires 100. I'm so far off of it though, I might as well try and increase production, make it so we're actually producing things instead of trying to do all this complicated stuff. So we're going to increase it by 200%. So now it's like we have 4 miners and there is so much more coming through now. This is looking quite a bit more productive. We might end up putting in an additional one so that we have 500 total percent production, which would be nice, but look at it now. It was looking spotty, kind of like this, where there's gaps in each one. Now it's looking clean. A lot of goodies coming through. That's exciting. I love that there's overclocking and I always forget about it. Honestly, I really have no idea how we got to this point or how we're seemingly pulling it off, but I'll try to summarize it. So we have the AI limiters brought together. This was our final piece of the puzzle. And we have them merged at that point. It does look a little weird, and it does have a little bit of a sky bridge action going on. And we did have to split our plastics one final time to get this to work. And then I feel like, you know, it's kind of becoming a serious build when you start having to merge / split manufacturers. That's kind of a big step, I feel like. So as you can see, we have all of our AI high-speed, I keep calling them AI components. We have high-speed connectors right there. And then we have this absolute monstrosity. I wanted to use this corner of the build, and this just seemed to work. So we have this weird stepping stone from, yeah, I don't even know where, but anyways, we have this weird situation and we have all the computers going together. The only part in the build that I can see us kind of struggling with right now is our Caterium output is currently not very high. So because of that, like, see all of this Caterium coming out nice, but honestly, it's just, it's not even like it's moving slow. It's just, we need so much of it for all of these things. Okay, so we're taking a little detour. I was going around my base getting some stuff that we needed, and I realized that this setup is not very good for a compacted coal, or at least it wasn't. I had a bunch of my lines mixed up, and this is just kind of something I noticed from time to time as my builds are a complete disaster, and I kind of come back and fix them later. So now you didn't get to see it, but it's all cleaned up, I promise. The sulfur was getting mixed with the coal and vice versa, which isn't very good because this coal is still getting used over here for our steel. I like going back and kind of redoing builds every once in a while because obviously you a few months ago just isn't as smart as you now, or at least, you know, hopefully. So I always like going back and seeing how I can make things a little bit better. I know a lot of people in Satisfactory suffer from this and end up like even going as far as tearing down their entire old base so they can reset it up the way they wish they had in the beginning. And I'm trying my best to not be like that because one, that takes a ton of time, really like diverts me away from what I want to be doing, which is, you know, just the main stuff for phase 4. And I'm gonna try my best to do that, but from time to time I will sneak in a few little tidbits of reworking here and there. If we take a look at this, for the most part, it looks kind of like someone just came in here and dropped a bunch of these units, all the buildings and stuff like that, and they kind of just left. So as you can see, I've already started building the groundwork with these first floor glass panes, and I want to make this factory potentially our brand new mega factory, like I kind of just mentioned. But this is going to be more than a mega factory. It's going to be a multi-story, not giga factory, because I don't imagine it being huge, but I do imagine a production skyscraper is what I want to call it. So that's not going to be all done in this video. Obviously, this is going to be definitely a lot of the groundwork for that. But I'm excited because potentially, if all goes to plan, we can have a lot of our main production here. I'm talking heavy reinforced framing, supercomputers, almost everything that we need for the phase 4 completion. I want to do in a giant monolithic skyscraper. I think that sounds really, really cool, really crazy, and I want to be able to see it from our oil factory over in the distance. So I'm going to get to work on that and meet you back here when this looks a little bit more complete. Okay, so we've already made actually kind of a good amount of progress making the factory, but I want to make it different. I want to make it something interesting, maybe a little spicy. I know we already have our color scheme kind of going, and I don't want to stray too far from that, but I do want to make this factory kind of special, considering it might be our big skyscraper factory. At least that's the idea. And so because of that, we're over here at the Awesome Sync. Of course, you know, we're going to print these tickets. So we still have quite a few that we can buy, a few customizations, that is. So if we come in here and check it out, we can see that we have the customizer. We have paint finishes, we have foundation materials, and I'm going to be picking up a couple of these and see if we could spice it up a little bit. And of all these, weirdly enough, I kind of think the Caterium paint job might be the best one, mostly because the gold already goes with our tan and green. So I'm going to be picking up that one for sure. And then also we are going to take a look at the foundations, and I kind of like the concrete foundation. just because this metal one reminds me too much of the default one. So we are going to actually also pick up the concrete foundation, and we already have everything else, so we don't really need anything else. I just wanted to make sure that we have a little bit of something extra so we can make it as cool as possible. Everything else is really just flavor stuff, so we might add some structural frames or something like that. Actually, this does look kind of cool. Maybe we'll add some structural frames to it. Maybe these beams too. Ooh, and structural beams. I'm a fan of those. Okay, how much is this? 34? No way! We need one. Oh, man. Oh, lucky me, we had 12 in the bank. It's not a big deal. I'm kind of rich. So 45, plenty. Buy it all. And let's go back to customizing. This is going to be a really sick base. I'm actually like way more excited about it now. It is actually so funny. I was coming over here and checking up on our oil operations, and it's just like I mentioned. So many things just seem fine when you make them, and then you go back and you're like, wait, because this wasn't actually producing enough plastic because a lot of these machines weren't going, because I had so much fuel. So I added another fuel generator, so hopefully that helps out a little bit, and another fuel refinery. So hopefully now we have a better flow of plastic, which we just are always backed up on. Then I was kind of exploring over here, and I was like, man, we have so much silica, which before was kind of an issue, which means now we have a pretty good flow of aluminum. But wait, I actually now have a lack of aluminum scrap, which is weird because it was the opposite not just a little while ago. And that's because we have a clogging of water. Even though all of our operations are not the best, looking over them, I'm still proud of how far we've come. So that's definitely really nice. This is just more of a PSA to go back and check on some of your older builds like me, because they're probably needing a little bit of TLC. And here is the grand reveal. So this is our giant factory, our hopefully beginnings of our production skyscraper, and I think it looks pretty awesome. We were, as you can see, able to color code many parts of it, most of it. I already see a few conveyor belts that could use some extra work, but it's been color coded to the way that we have been doing things, where all these splitters, mergers, and some main machines and some things that I think are a little more important are colored red, and then everything else is green. And I think it looks pretty good. I'm a big fan of it. I decided to do the asphalt in here on the ground. I think it looks really clean. And then up on the top, we actually have the coated concrete. So this is the first time I've ever used this, and it's kind of expensive because it actually requires plastic, but I think it looks really clean, and it's probably what I'll end up going with for quite a few of the floors. I don't know if I'll mix and match with the asphalt, but I think it looks good. There's still quite a ways to go for me to actually have this looking like a really sick facility, but I think this looks like a really strong start. I could, obviously improve by adding some conveyor belt walls and making it so that all of these lights that I hooked up, which I'm really glad I hooked them up, but as you can see, the wires kind of just, that doesn't look too good. So we can hopefully clean that up. But I'm glad that there's lights in here in general so that it's not so dark and dreary, and I actually don't mind coming here whenever it is dark in game, and I can come in here and work, and it's not a big deal. We are obviously kind of not making too much right now. We need a little bit more plastic to get everything up and going, but it is fully automated for the most part. So I'm happy I can come in here and get any supplies that I potentially need. And this is just the first of maybe many floors. Like I said, this is what is aspiring to be our production skyscraper. So it is very big. Probably you could house multiple of our other facilities in this single facility. And this is definitely more of what I was aiming to do with our mega base over there. Mega base does look nice. It has the aesthetic advantage for sure, but one, I don't think this looks bad, and two, it is just way more usable and just overall productive. So I like it. Hopefully you all like it, and hopefully you all liked this episode. We've done kind of nothing that we thought we were going to do, but we actually got a lot done, and this is going to be a great foundation, I think. because we can continue to add on to this, make it better and better, and together we can have the greatest power skyscraper in all of Satisfactory. So thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you all very soon.